Queensbridge is crazy. Turn the wrong corner and you will die.
I was not going to be a drug dealer. I'm here to play basketball.
I never questioned Ron's ability. Every single day I questioned where he was mentally.
He had demons. He had a disease he couldn't handle.
I figured out that I need help.
Who comes back from what we dismiss as crazy and rescues himself?
May 18th is going to be, how can I say it? May 18th is going to be a great time for me, but a scary moment in time for Dominic Breazeale and his family. I would advise Dominic Breazeale to not bring his kids to this fight. That's how serious it is. You will suffer. You will pay. Every punch, every blow to your face is gonna be crucial. My occupation consists of punching people in the face. My occupation consists of putting you in the hospital. This is not a gentleman's sport. So when that bell rings, all hell gonna break loose. My opponent's not gonna be able to touch me. He's not ready for this situation. So forever will be the king and still heavyweight champion of the world.
The pace of the fight is going to be in a hurry, like New Yorkers are.
All right, champ, let him ring. Press it home.
I don't like Wilder at all.
I can't wait. I'm gonna get him out of there, and it's gonna be in a dramatic fashion.
I think that he's been the champ for, WBC champ for, what, 4 years now? That's a disgrace to heavyweight division.
Trust me, I am the king. 40 victims. 39 got knocked out. The money that you're gonna earn gonna go to your hospital bills. Trust me, I am the king.
If you don't know, now you know boxing is back in Brooklyn. A triple header coming your way tomorrow night. Showtime Championship Boxing live from the Barclays Center at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Welcome to the coverage of the official weigh-in for our triple header, culminating with the heavyweight title showdown between undefeated WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder making the 9th defense of his belt against the once defeated former title challenger Dominic Breazeale. I'm Mauro Rinaldo. This is former two-division champ Paulie Malignaggi, our friend and our friend and Hall of Famer. I was going to say fellow Hall of Famers. You might make it. I won't. Steve Harhood is going to be conducting interviews on the stage. And without further ado, let's turn things over to another Hall of Famer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you, and we welcome you to the Long Island University Athletic Center here in downtown Brooklyn, New York, as Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for our big night of action coming your way tomorrow night at Barclays Center here in Brooklyn. And it's all brought to you by Bomb Squad Promotions in association with TGB Promotions and Showtime. Sponsored by MGM Resorts and Brooklyn Boxing. Well, at this time, we begin with our opening bout on Showtime. 10 rounds of boxing scheduled in a super lightweight special attraction. First, please welcome to the stage at this time from Brooklyn, New York, by way of the Dominican Republic, the battle-tested veteran of 33 professional bouts and the former world champion. Please welcome Argenis Mendez. And his opponent now ready to join us to the stage at this time, representing Mayweather Promotions. In this bout presented in association with Mayweather Promotions, please welcome the rising undefeated lightweight contender, introducing Juan Heraldez. And at this time, it looks like our fighters are ready to step onto the scale at this time. Super lightweights, first, please welcome the former IBF Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Argenis Mendez. 140 3/4 pounds, 140 3/4 pounds for Argenis Mendez. And now his opponent with a record of 16-0 with 10 knockouts from Las Vegas, Nevada. Please welcome the undefeated Juan Heraldes. And he's ready to step onto the scale at this time. A little equipment correction. $140.5 pounds, 140.5 pounds for Heraldes. We're going to bring our fighters together, square off, photo opportunity. Then we'll move on to our next weigh-in for the world title. And there they are, ladies and gentlemen. It opens up our show on Showtime. 10-round super lightweight special attraction. Juan Heraldes versus Argenis Mendez. All right, fans, here we go, moving along with our weigh-ins from downtown Brooklyn. Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for our first of our world title attractions taking place tomorrow night, presented in association with Samson Boxing. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. Let's bring our challenger up to the stage at this time. Joining us from Torrellano, Alicante, Spain. He's ranked the WBC #3 world contender. Please welcome the former world champion, Kiko Martinez. And we bring his opponent up to the stage at this time, the defending world champion from Capitol Heights, Maryland. Please welcome the popular, respected WBC Featherweight Champion of the World, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. And as always, at this time, we present the challenger to the scale at this time, the former world champion, battle-ready veteran pro of 49 bouts, the former IBF Junior Featherweight Champion of the World, Kiko Martinez. 124.5 pounds, 124.5 pounds for Kiko Martinez. With a weight limit of 126 pounds, Kiko Martinez well under the limit. Now let's see what the champion brings to us at this time. With a record of 29-1, 17 knockouts, making the fourth defense of his title, the reigning, acclaimed, and accomplished WBC Featherweight Champion of the World, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. $125.75 pounds, 125.75 pounds. We have a fight. Both fighters make weight. It's the first of our world title attractions. 12 rounds WBC Featherweight Championship of the World. And let's bring our fighters to the front and center. This is the first of our world title attractions taking place tomorrow night live on Showtime. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Gary Russell Jr. versus Kiko Martinez. 12 rounds WBC Featherweight Championship of the World tomorrow night, live on Showtime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to interview Gary Russell, the champion, here is the International Boxing Hall of Famer, Steve Farhood.
Gary Russell Jr., we live in an era where fighters seemingly don't make weight in title fights as often as they do make weight. For 10 years, you've been making 126. I've never seen a fighter looser or more confident that he was going to make weight than you. What's the key to making weight consistently?
You got to have a level of professionalism. This is my sport. This is what I do. This is what I love. That's why there's no way impossible that he's walking out of this city with my strap. Never in a million years.
Kiko Martinez is a veteran. He's a strong fighter, but he's also, we know what to expect from him. He's predictable. How do you approach him?
One round at a time with the jab, nice, stiff, hard jab. Make him run into everything.
Do you think because of his style, we're going to see Gary Russell really shine?
You're going to see me shine regardless of a style. My father always told me that a diamond shines on all sides. No matter how you flip it or turn it, it's still going to sparkle.
Good luck, Gary.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to downtown Brooklyn, New York, as Premier Boxing Champions presents the official weigh-in for the main event of the evening, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World, brought to you by Bomb Squad Promotions in association with TGB Promotions and Showtime. Our action is sponsored by MGM Resorts and Brooklyn Boxing. All right, fans, here we go. Let's bring our fighters to the stage for our featured attraction. First, we present the challenger. Hailing from Alhambra, California, he'll be making his second attempt at a world title. Please welcome the respected WBC #4 ranked heavyweight world contender. Please welcome Dominic "Trouble" Breazeale.
Shootout. Best chance. assuming there's still peace on the stage.
And now we bring out the defending champion from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He'll be making the 9th consecutive defense of his title. Here is America's only heavyweight world champion, the hard-hitting, the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world, known as the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder. And now let's bring our fighters to the scale at this time. Once again, 12 rounds, WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World. First, here is the challenger with a record of 20 wins, 1 loss, with 18 big wins. Coming by way of knockout, here is the accomplished WBC number 4 ranked heavyweight contender, introducing Dominic "Trouble" Breazeale. 255 1/4 pounds, 255 1/4 pounds for the challenger, Dominic Breazeale. And now we're ready for the defending world champion to step onto the scale. Tremendous record of 40 wins, no losses, 1 draw, 39 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the reigning and renowned WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder. $223 1/4 pounds, 223 1/4 pounds for the defending champion, Deontay Wilder. Once again, the voice of Showtime, Hall of Famer Steve Farhood, now to interview the fighters. There they are, ladies and gentlemen. It's the main event of the evening. Tomorrow night, live on Showtime, the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World, Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale.
Thank you.
And now we're ready for Steve Farhood and the interview of the fighters. Take it away, Steve.
Deontay, there's been no hiding the bad blood, but just now, no words were spoken between the two of you. If your eyes could talk, what were you telling them?
My eyes would say there's nothing more that need to be said, for tomorrow is Judgment Day.
How will the bad blood affect the fight, or will it affect the fight?
It's not going to affect it at all. It only intensifies it. You know, when we get in the ring, we're both going to see red. And this is what makes great fight, you know. Our words that we speak, our action that we're going to display in the ring, this is what makes great fights. Don't y'all want great fights?
223, that's 11 pounds more than last time you weighed. Was that a strategy, or is just that the way your body reacted to training?
You know, at this point in time in my career, I want to show everything, you know. I'm going to look the part and be the part as I always do, you know. So I'm just happy to be a part of the heavyweight division. It's so exciting right now. It's on fire right now, and I can't wait for Saturday night.
Is this going to be a shootout?
Oh, man, this is going to be a blowout.
All right, you know what I ask for you every time we do this? One bomb squad.
Bomb squad!
Good luck. Dominic, good to see you. I'll ask you the same question I asked him. Nothing was spoken verbally when you two stared each other out. What were your eyes saying?
I was just looking deep into his soul. Nothing needs to be said. He's been saying all he can, running his mouth. He's probably all out of words at this point. It's fight time. Ain't nothing else can be said. It's time to fight.
How will the emotion between the two of you affect the fight, if it will affect it at all?
I don't think so at all. I think it motivated me during camp. Coming into the fight, though, I'm going to act like a professional. I'm going to put my professional performance on, give the fans what they want to see, and get that knockout win.
You told us in the fighter meetings, you're not letting this go to the judges. You have to knock them out to win. How do you do it?
Put my leather in his face as often as possible. I plan on landing some big right hands as well as following up with some great body shots and left hooks. But fight night, whoever lands first, whoever lands a big shot first.
Last thing, he says bomb squad, you say?
Here comes trouble.
Good luck.
Well, last time that I checked, we have a triple header coming your way Saturday night. Showtime Championship Boxing from the Barclays Center, and Breazeale and Wilder have been talking enough trash to fill a landfill. A lot of polarizing comments being exchanged, especially by the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder, but now the focus is finally on the fight, and that's where our focus is. Mauro Ranallo along with Paulie Malignaggi, and happy to be joined by a man who is giving Howard Stern a run for his money when it comes to king of all media, popular podcaster, television personality, and coming up tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific on Showtime, Brendan Schaub's debut stand-up comedy special. You'd be surprised. We'll get into that a bit later, but Brendan, welcome. And speaking of comedy, guys, we said goodbye to the hit sitcom Big Bang Theory last night on our sibling CBS, and something tells me that theory will be proven to be true Saturday night in the main event. A couple of big bangers. You look at their combined record, 60 wins, 1 loss, and a draw. The loss belongs to Breazeale in his other crack at a title against Anthony Joshua back in June of 2016. The draw happened in Wilder's last fight, that thriller, controversial draw against Tyson Fury. But let's concentrate on tomorrow night, Paulie, and make of it what you will. The build-up to the fight, and what do you expect Saturday night?
Well, you know, we've had a lot of bad blood in the build-up, but sometimes that is part of competition, that is part of a big fight, you know? I don't ever mind there being bad blood, but this one seems to be a bit personal. Something had to have happened in that Alabama hotel lobby that time. And
back in 2017.
Different versions of the story told by both sides. But one thing remains out of that is that both guys left that situation not liking each other at all. So that's going to kind of spill over into the fight. It spilled over into the promotion anyway, you know? And I think it's going to be extra satisfying for the winner of the fight, be it if it's Wilder defending the title or Breazeale winning the title. That is actually just a little extra mustard in the sauce, so to speak.
And Brendan, you love to speak your truth. You love to share your opinions. Yes. Give us your take on tomorrow night.
You know, anytime Deontay Wilder's fighting, I'm watching, because someone's getting knocked out. Whether it's Tyson Fury or whoever it is, someone's getting knocked out. So I'm excited for this fight. It doesn't go past 6. There's no way this goes past 6, especially with the style of Breazeale. So I'm excited. It's going to be an epic knockout. For Wilder, let's be real here. Well, I'm a homer. It's Wilder's destroying this dude.
And we all thought that Tyson Fury was knocked out at the hands of Deontay Wilder, then pulled a Undertaker from the WWE impression and rose like the proverbial phoenix from the ashes in that 12th and final round. But let's get to the techniques now. Where do you think Deontay Wilder's path to success will be. I mean, we can talk about the right hand.
It's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. Establishing the jab and then, disguising the right hand behind that laser jab that he has. When he has his jab going, Wilder is great. Obviously people look at the right hand, but it's usually set up by a great jab. And whether he walks you into a right hand or whether he hits you with a right hand off of the 1-2 off the jab, it's still being set up off the jab nonetheless. Even if you're walking in off of something else, it's because you're walking in clumsily because you've been hit with too many jabs to begin with.
But let me ask you this, Paul, and you know this. They're fighting with passion. Like, there seems to be some legit bad blood. Sometimes Wilder comes out the gates hot, and Breazeale's a slow starter.
Well, Breazeale is working with Virgil Hunter for the first time. Sorry to interrupt. They say that's what they've worked on most.
And you know this. If you're a slow starter, that's in your nature. It's tough to go, oh, no, I'm actually a knockout artist now. No, you're not.
Yeah.
It's in your nature.
But here's the thing.
He can change trainers, do whatever he wants, but...
Here's the thing.
This is what I'm worried about. This is my question. I'm a little worried that because there's bad blood, there's some pressure on Wilder. Is Wilder going to open up and be too aggressive?
Well, I think that's what you have. I think that's what you have trainers for too. You establish a game plan and kind of keep you guiding you in that direction. I think Deontay is a world champion for a reason. I think there are a lot of emotions that run through our veins when there's these kind of moments. But I think what makes a legitimate champion, a world-class fighter like Deontay, is that you know how to control it when the moment is right and when it's time,
but
when it's go time.
Fury, did he? Like he didn't look himself for those first 6-7 rounds.
He admitted that he was trying to go for the knockout.
I don't know that that's emotion or if that's Tyson Fury being a good boxer.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It's Tyson Fury's style, but
I think in this situation, Breazeale is less mobile. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a big guy. Breazeale more so has a style where he's going to force his way inside. My problem with Breazeale is this. He's a guy who forces the fight, and he's a mentally strong fighter. It'll take a little bit of work to get him out of there. Yeah. Unless maybe Deontay has that power to get him out of there in one shot. We don't know. But, of course, usually he makes you work for it if you're going to get him out of there, like Joshua had to work for it. But,
7 rounds, right?
But he'll still try to walk you down. He'll still try to make it physical for you, even if you're better than him. My problem with him is there's no head movement behind that pressure. I don't know what they worked on with Virgil Hunter. Maybe that's one of the things they worked on. But usually he's kind of that high guard, trying to walk through the shots, through the fire, and Joshua made him pay for it. But he did make Joshua work for it. Is he going to be able to do that with Deontay, or is he going to walk into a 1-2 and get smoked? But, of course, the other side of that is if he is able to close that gap on Deontay, say Deontay's off balance, or Deontay's not setting up his right hand the right way, suddenly that pressure from Breazeale is backing him up. I don't rate Deontay highly when he's backing up. He's not the kind of boxer who fights well backing up. And that's why actually when he starts to get wild and when he starts to flail those shots. So Breazeale's ticket to success is making sure he can back up Deontay Wilder, but that comes with its own form of risk. That comes with going to the power that can smoke you in this fight.
And you look at them, and I know despite the bad blood, there are so many similarities. They're almost going to be eye to eye. They're almost the same height, around 6'7". Both have athletic backgrounds. Breazeale playing quarterback at Northern Colorado University. Wilder was pursuing a football career before his daughter was born with spina bifida. They started late in the sport, early 20s. So when you look at all of that and you see the similarities, when it comes to what they both accomplished inside the ring, Paulie, we've seen Breazeale come up short against Joshua. Joshua and Wilder, when you look at them, what are the biggest differences that you see that Breazeale's going to have to work on to try to get past Wilder?
I mean, there's stylistically, they're almost nothing alike. I mean, this is a different fight. I mean, Wilder and Joshua are almost nothing alike. I mean, they're both boxers in that, they're going to try to work off the jab. But I think Joshua is a little bit less athletic than Wilder, but he has more of an arsenal than Wilder. I think Wilder has a lesser arsenal, but his jab and right hand and off that almost rubber band type of jab, like a lightweight jab,
more power,
flicking jab, and probably a little more power. But I think the power is almost at heavyweight. I mean, if anything lands cleanly, you're going to get hurt regardless.
How do you rate Breazeale's power then? You just
I think Breazeale's got respectable power as well. Again, he's not the. Listen, it's rare to see the kind of power Wilder has.
That at the same time, from freaking outer space, man. That's some Thor right hand.
That's like we haven't seen that kind of power in a long time. Obviously Vladimir Klitschko used to hit guys with it, but he wasn't as aggressive with it as Wilder can be. But I do think Breazeale can get your attention and even rock you or hurt you or knock you out. He's a big
Wilder's
guy.
Heavy tonight.
Well, I was going to say that's what I was going to touch on.
Here's the thing.
223
he's heavier,
pounds.
but of course, is that more power? Is that going to make him less mobile, less speed? Also, he weighed in with sweatpants on. That's probably a few pounds
and
there.
Breazeale said that Wilder's a cruiserweight in the heavyweight division. Breazeale came in at 255 1/4 pounds. The highest he's been as 263. When you look at the the eye test, he says he's in the best shape of his career. Cosmetically, working 10 weeks for Hunter, that appears to be the case. But Wilder has averaged 219 pounds over his last fight, or 5 fights. So when you look at this weight, I think is it important for him to put on a little bit more weight in these land of giants?
Listen, as long as the weight is natural and the weight is, not him being lazy, and as long as the weight is just, sometimes with age you get a little bit bigger, or sometimes it's strategic. Maybe he wants to get a little bigger so that inside the clinches, maybe he felt inside the clinches Fury was too big for him. You know what I'm saying? And he thought, you know what, if I add a little bit of muscle, a little more mass in those clinches, I'll be able to push back. It's possible. It could be strategic. We'll see. We'll only know when he gets in the ring on tomorrow night.
It also tells me them being heavier. This one ain't going past 6.
Well, when you look, like I said,
usually these guys don't.
It ain't happening.
57 knockouts combined. Level of competition in terms of, we have Wilder coming off back-to-back thrillers against Fury and Luis Ortiz. Breazeale, of course, challenged Anthony Joshua. But when you look at overall experience, how do you rate that?
I don't know. They have a lot of similar opponents. They have obviously. I think one of the guys they both fought is Eric Molina, right?
Eric Molina. That's how Breazeale became mandatory.
Yeah. They both got, Wilder has Ortiz and Fury. Breazeale has Joshua. I think between the both of them, we got all the guys that we like to see any of them fight, right? But
Ortiz is the best win out of the two, though. Yeah, no one wants to fight Ortiz.
Yeah, Ortiz is definitely the best win. Yeah, Ortiz is the best win out of the two. I agree.
What in terms of all the questions that have been answered and remain to be answered by Deontay Wilder? Anything you look at going into the fight Saturday night, fresh off the experience of the fight against Fury?
No, we'll see if Deontay can put on a consistent performance. We know he can knock people out, but does he have staying power? Can he stay in the ring if a guy forces him to go rounds? And what I'm saying is, not just stay in the ring, can he stay in the ring and be in control for an extended period of time if a guy forces him to go rounds? We're used to seeing Deontay get guys out of there, but we saw in the first Severn fight he had that staying power. Is that staying power still there remaining, where not just staying in the fight, but staying in the fight in control.
Yeah.
Boxing in control. Showing your opponent you're in control of this fight, even if he doesn't get you out of there. That's always a question with big punchers to me, Deontay has shown that in the past, so I look for that. I look for him still having that. But, of course, we'll find out tomorrow night.
Anything to add before we go to the co-feature?
I think we should just tip our hats to Deontay Wilder, because when you look at the 3 horsemen of the heavyweight division in Wilder, Fury, and Joshua, only one of them's fighting a kind of tough opponent. And it's Wilder, so you got to tip your hat to Wilder for that.
King Ghidorah of the Godzilla movies, the 3-headed monster there with Wilder, Joshua, Fury. Let's hope in our lifetime we see them fight. But tomorrow night it will be Deontay Wilder making the 9th title defense against Dominic Breazeale. Bad blood, bad intentions, a couple of bad dudes going at it. Now in our co-feature it is that time of year. It's the annual appearance of Mr. Gary Russell Jr., who, for the last few years has fought on this weekend, a couple of days from his dad's birthday, coming off an impressive win over his mandatory Jojo Diaz Jr., who Russell told us he hurt his hand in the second round. Still, the fastest hands in the sport, would you say, Paulie?
Yeah, among the fastest hands for sure.
Yeah. Against Kiko Do You Love Me Martinez, a former 122-pound titleist.
What a great name.
But on paper, I added the Do You Love Me from the Drake thing. You know me, Brendan. Come on, work with me, brother.
Well, he should work with it. He should run with that, start selling shirts.
Well, there you go. But, Paulie, when you look at Martinez, yes, he upset Jonathan Romero to win the 122-pound title, but when he stepped up against Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz, Scott Quigg, and even against Josh Warrington, he's fallen short. He's 3-0-1 since against limited opposition. Talk about this
Kiko
matchup.
is the kind of guy who physically is a bit limited, but mentally he always shows up to fight, and having won that, guys like that are usually not world class, but they can win at world class level here and there. So, and Kiko proves that with the world title win that he has. But based off being an ex-world champion, what happens when you're a limited world champion? When you're a limited ex-world champion, a lot of these guys will come calling you as opposition. You're usually a schedule filler or guys or situations like that. And this is sort of a schedule filler for Russell. But of course, what does that do for you? You get opportunities to upset the apple cart, and sometimes you may upset him, sometimes you don't. You know, a lot of times my career was like that. You know what I'm saying? I was a world champion with a limited amount of knockouts, and even when I lost the title, I was getting shots at other world titles because I was a name. But yet, and the world title makes you a name, just like Kiko's world title makes him a name, and yet you're still looked at as something that's less risky than maybe the next big name. But sometimes you can upset the apple cart, as I did in Ukraine beating Shevchenko, and that's what Kiko Martinez's situation. He in getting these opportunities, you looked at him as the schedule filler, but you got to be in it to win it. And Kiko's in it. And he's going to always show up to fight. Mentally, he is a fighter through and through.
He will come forward. For Gary Russell Jr., Brendan, the criticism has been, what? Like Janet Jackson celebrated a birthday, I believe, yesterday. What have you done for me lately? He will tell you, though, the reason he has called out Leo Santa Cruz. He wants that title unification fight. He wants Carl Frampton, but he says they're not answering the call, and why he's saying, hey, I live a pretty good life. He's a family man. He's making his money. He's making the appearance, but he says, I respect him. Like you say, he wants those fights.
Yeah, it's too much of a risk for those guys. I think the risk and the reward, and he's not active enough. So those guys, and he's a dangerous liability with how quick his hands are and his resume. So I'm with those guys. Like, no, we can fight other guys and make more money.
You've been about the business a lot longer than we have. You've been in the trenches. Why do you think Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell Jr. can't be made, especially when you consider they're all under the same umbrella, for lack of a better term?
There's a lot of options for Leo to fight, and less risky opposition. I think Brendan hit it on the head. Also, with Gary Russell, I think at this point, if you knock and you don't they don't open the door for you, and you knock and let them open the door for you, you got to start kicking it in and screaming and yelling. And I don't think Gary does enough of that either. He's not getting the shots, but he's talked a little bit, but he's not kicking in the door. You got to kick in the door at a certain point and just be controversial and do what you have to do. Because at this point, if they don't respect you, there's no need to respect them.
He needs to take the page out of Paulie's.
Well, there you go. But he's also talking about moving up to 130 if he doesn't get what he wants at 126. Talked about Gervonta Davis potentially. And again, first things first, he's got Kiko Martinez Saturday night. The once beaten, he was defeated on Showtime by pound-for-pound staple Vasily Lomachenko. When I asked him in the fighter meeting, is that a fight? He wants to harpoon that white whale. We don't see that happening anytime soon, do we, guys?
Again, it's just you can talk all you want. You have to kick in the door now.
Right.
Lomachenko's not answering that door.
We have the same conversation about Gary Russell every year.
Yes, we do.
Why does he not get these fights? Well, the answer is still the same as it was last year and the year before that.
He's not changing.
Other than his speed, what else do you like about Gary Russell Jr.'s game?
He's an intelligent fighter. He's exciting. He comes to fight every time. So he's not one of these guys with a ton of athletic ability who makes boring fights. Anytime he's in the fight, he's looking for the knockout. He's looking to take you on. He's looking to look impressive, and I think that's an important quality to have in a champion.
All right, and we're kicking things off with a 140-pound tilt. Argenis the Storm Mendez, a 2004 Olympian for the Dominican Republic, a former 130-pound belt holder, but only 2-1 in his last 5 fights, coming off a contentious draw with a Anthony Peterson in Peter's home area. He is going to take on Juan Heraldez under the Mayweather promotional banner. Reason? Well, Heraldez, who was 28-16-0 with 10 knockouts, was a part of 2 Floyd Mayweather camps. He told us Andre Berto fight and the first Marcos Maidana fight. When you look at this fight, I mean, Mendez 32, Heraldez 28. Heraldez wanting to remain unbeaten and get that necessary experience. How do you see this playing out?
Well, he's 28 years old, so he's at an age where he's going to have to, move up along the ladder. And with that undefeated record, his team at Mayweather Promotions sees this as the opportunity to kind of sort of break into the big names. Mendez is an ex-world champion. He's with a 2-1 record his last 5 fights. He's a little bit faded, as people will.
But he's also faced Robert Easter and Luke Campbell.
That's what I was going to say. People will look at him as a little bit faded, but he's battle tested. So you may look at him as a gatekeeper if you're Heraldez, but he's a tough gatekeeper. But if you beat him, you've beaten a legitimate ex-world champion, and you can kind of start to enter the fray as far as the bigger fights and the bigger names are concerned, which at 28 years old you want to do. Well, and Mendez, of course, is looking to take just a scalp of an up-and-comer and keep his career going.
What do you like about Heraldez then so far? Have you had a chance to dissect him?
Looks a quality fighter. Obviously his knockout record is not the most sparkling, but he's got a lot of ability and he's hungry. A young fighter. He's not super young, but a fighter who's still in his 20s, who has not yet fought out for all the laurels and the championships of the world and all that stuff. He's still coming with an extra with an extra bit of grit, and that's something a guy who's battle tested like Mendes may not have anymore. And we'll find out tomorrow night.
All right. Well, we are all excited at Showtime for what is going to be taking place tonight. Our good friend Brendan Schaub realizing one of his childhood dreams. It is the stand-up comedy special, the premiere of You'd Be Surprised.
It's a big week for me, man. This has been my dream since I was a child. This is the exact moment. Growing up, my heroes were not wrestlers. They're not fighters. They're not football players. My heroes were stand-up comedians.
Closer, closer, closer than I ever.
Then when I was 7, my dad walked up to me. He's all, quit acting like a jackass in school and making everybody laugh. You're the biggest 7-year-old we've ever seen. Right before I go on stage, I look at my brother, I go, how do I look? He goes, you look like a fuckboy. I'm all, I think that's good. I'll see you out there. Okay, here we go. You gotta realize, man, where I live, this shit's cool. There's a ton of fuckboys roaming around West Hollywood. I'll be the head fuck. I'll be that guy. No, come on.
It goes down tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific on Showtime. You'd Be Surprised, the debut of the stand-up comedy special, Brendan Schaub. Brendan,
yes.
You're a funny guy, but being amongst friends and stuff, it's, you know, we all make each other laugh. That's one thing, but doing it on a stage in front of millions of people under the bright lights, that's something completely different. I know the comedy bug bit you early. When did you know you could do this?
I probably knew I could do it after the first time I ever tried stand-up. I bombed at the Comedy Store, but I got one laugh. I remember I got one laugh from the manager in the back, and he sees a lot of comedy. So I knew there was something there. It was like a little kernel. I went, all right, I'll take that. There's a little bit of sunshine in this. And I just ran with it, and then here we are.
Who were your Oh, sorry, Paulie, you want to ask?
Go ahead, Paulie.
No. I mean, I think you saw a little bit of
just
sunshine.
a little bit of light.
Yeah, you needed
it's like
that.
a trainer when you hit that jab. He's like, it's not terrible.
You started in the bullpen. You know, now you're doing 9 innings.
Yeah, there you go.
Now they say it's a rite of passage, I guess, to bomb, but that's got to be soul crushing.
It's disappointing.
How do you? I mean, you bounced back quick. So, how was it though when you went back afterwards? Did you get support right away?
No, not at all. But you know what helped me is my losses in fighting. There's nothing more embarrassing. You know how this is, Paulie. There's nothing worse than when you lose a fight because that's the moment. You know you're not going to fight for a long time.
Yeah.
So if I can deal with that. Bombing on stage, I can go across town at if I'm at the Comedy Store, I can go to the Improv and redeem myself with some other material. Fighting, I got to dwell on that for the next 3 to 6 months about getting knocked out. I can see the highlights and stuff. Comedy's a lot easier.
Who were some of your comedy heroes, your influences that
with
helped
this?
You? Maybe with this or overall?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey were my guys. But, this, I have a group around me, a core group of guys that, they just they inspire me from Brian Callen, Joe Rogan, Bert Kreischer, Joey Diaz, Andrew Schultz, Theo Vaughn. Like, that's my crew, man, and Chris D'Elia. So, I'm surrounded by greatness. So, hopefully.
The impact that the all-powerful Joe Rogan has had on you, and I know you're a talented guy, but it cannot be undersold, right? That Rogan's had a huge impact on you.
Huge. He was, he gave me a talk. Actually, he's one of the reasons I retired because there's other things you can do, man, and you should start trying to do stand-up. So between him and Brian going, no. We know you like fighting, but I'm telling you, you can do this.
Yeah, Brian Callen, the fighter, and the kid.
Yeah, those guys give me the push is kind of what got me here.
So,
and they actually opened up for me. I had
they
Brian
opened up for
Callen
you.
and Joe Rogan open for me. The crowd had no idea.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
give the people watching a taste of what kind of humor. What are they going to get out of you tonight?
You're going to get something you've never seen in a comedy special before with my unique kind of experience in fighting. And the meat of this special comes from something I did on Comedy Central 3 years ago. And I took that story and really ramped it up. And it's about my last fight. It's ridiculous, my last fight, going from that to stand-up comedy. That's kind of the meat of this Showtime.
Like the Hulk
and the
Hogan
best
bit.
thing about stand-up comedy is when you can tell a story and make it funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's based off true stuff, so you visualize it better. And we know how to tell a story, and then people start to visualize it, and then all the comedy stuff in it.
Yeah.
You feel like you were there. Yeah, that's the best part about when a good stand-up comedian makes you feel like you were there, enjoying the laugh in the moment that it happened.
Correct.
And I know I speak for millions as someone who internally has said, man, what I would give to just try it. Scared to death. Do you have any Any advice for people who would like to try comedy that are like me going, I don't want to bomb, and I probably will bomb, and that'll be it? Yeah,
I would just get up there. I would just get up, but I wouldn't do it the way I did it in front of all your famous comedian friends. Like, do it at an open mic somewhere where no one's watching. Just try it out. Yeah, just try it out.
Well, I am very proud of you.
Thank you,
Congratulations,
sir. I love
Brendan.
you guys,
really
man.
loving
Appreciate
you,
you,
my
man.
man. Of course, host of Below the Belt and so many other things. But it's coming up tonight, the stand-up comedy special. You'd be surprised. Our buddy here, Brendan Schaub, is going to make you laugh till you cry, I bet. Hey, we're going to be shedding tears of joy because less than, 1 day away, triple header, Showtime Championship Boxing, Barclays Center in Brooklyn, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, culminating with that heavyweight title showdown, the undefeated Deontay Wilder making the 9th defense of his WBC heavyweight belt against the once-beaten mandatory challenger, Dominic Breazeale. But guess what? Wait! There is more beginning at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific on Showtime Sports Channel, on YouTube, and the Showtime Boxing page on Facebook. We've got the Countdown Show featuring 3 preliminary bouts, plenty of analysis. You don't want to miss it. And hey, for Brendan, for Paulie, for Steve, Jimmy, and our entire crew, I'm Morrow. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you Saturday night for Showtime Championship Boxing.
If I'm gonna try marijuana for the first time, I just can't become a pothead overnight. I need to talk to some experts. So I'm doing a podcast with Joey Diaz, Joe Rogan, and Eddie Bravo. I tell the boys my recent discovery of marijuana can help with my brain. This is what happens next. Joey Diaz slides across to me a gummy Death Star. It's a rhinoceros tranquilizer. I had no freaking clue. I had no idea. And Joey Diaz goes, "Cocksucker, just fucking eat half, I guess. Eat the whole thing on the fucking Pluto." Relax, Joey. Pluto, chill, man. Mama didn't raise no quitter, I ate the whole goddamn star. I've never seen sheer panic on Joe Rogan's face before. He's like this, fuck, why? Why? And I look over at Eddie Bravo's face, he's like this. Have fun, brah. Then the podcast started. I didn't say a single word in 3 hours. Not one word in 3 hours. Not one word. You ever been so high before you forget what language you speak? I was so high. My high brain's like, bro, after the conversation. I'm like, in what language though? What is that? Is that French? Fuck, I don't speak French. I'm just gonna stay quiet, man. I'm just gonna stay quiet. This isn't good, man. The podcast finally wraps. My high brain goes, oh shit. That did not go well, my man. Don't let your buddies know how fucked up you are. Just do a cool exit and get the hell out the building. Oh, I know. I've been watching a bunch of Game of Thrones lately. Yeah. So Joey, Eddie, and Rogan go, hey man, you sure you're good? I went, am I ever? Me lords. I get in my car, might as well have been the Starship Enterprise. I'm like, whoa, okay. I was messing with my AC unit for 30 minutes. I'm like, no, that's not it. It's not it, man. Finally, I get started. Found myself going down that 405 highway, 17 miles an hour, happy as shit. And I went through stages. The next stage, I got super paranoid. I stare at my mirrors every 3 seconds. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now, man? What am I doing? I thought there was a werewolf in my backseat. I'm all, be cool, werewolf, be fucking cool, man. God. The next stage that kicked in is what the kids refer to as the munchies. Who came up with that word? That word is not strong enough to describe how hungry I was. I was prisoner of war, famished. I was so hungry. And it came out of nowhere. I was just minding my own business, driving down that highway happy. I was like, all right, we got this. And oh shit, I'm starving. Wow. Oh, it's the hungriest I've ever been, hands down. And I started getting super emotional. I was like, if I don't eat in the next 3 minutes, I'm gonna die. I need food. So I get off the next exit. I see 2 golden arches, but my high brain goes, bro, after midnight, fast food's actually pretty healthy for you, Mo. You're making a lot of sense tonight, my man. I appreciate it. You're making a lot of sense. I pull this McDonald's. It's the crunkest McDonald's you've ever seen in your life. Ever. Just the drive-thru is open, 30 cars deep. I park in that McDonald's parking lot. I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to die in a McDonald's parking lot. I need food, man. This is so sad. I don't want to die like this. And I look down, I see a gentleman eating a 20-piece McNugget with sweet and sour sauce. My high brain goes, bro, suck his dick and get those nuggets. How about no, sir? So I'm like, come on, Brendan, think of something, man. You don't want to go out like this. Think of something. This is so embarrassing. I've never said this word before ever in my life. I will never say it again. This is how you know I was high as shit. It's such a fuckboy word. I just went, you know what? YOLO, and fucking walked by all the cars. And I get to the front, this poor lady working the cashier at McDonald's goes, sir, get the hell back in your car, wait like everybody else. My mouth was so dry, I was like, shut up, bitch. I will pay for everyone's goddamn meal if you just give me my food first. She goes, really? I went, I swear to God, this is a real order I consumed that night. You ready? 2 quarter pounders with extra cheese, 2 Big Macs with extra pickles. It doesn't make sense, I hate pickles. 2 McRibs on a lettuce wrap, 3 large fries, 3 McFlurries, 1 of each different flavor. She goes, sir, we only have 2 flavors. I went, we better figure it out. A garden salad, an apple pie, and a Diet Coke. Those people that I bought food for gathered around me and cheered me on to the last bite. I felt like Trump when he bought the Clemson Tigers their McDonald's. I felt like that. The same people that watch me eat all that food, watch me throw every bit of it back up. I got very sick. I got very, very sick. That order cost me $3,600. I got McFucked. I got McFucked.
The pace of the fight is going to be in a hurry, like New Yorkers are.
All right, champ, let it ring. Press it home.
I don't like Wilder at all.
I can't wait. I'm going to get him out of there, and it's going to be in a dramatic fashion.
I think that he's been the champ for, the WBC champ for, what, 4 years now? That's a disgrace to heavyweight division.
Trust me, I am the king. 40 victims. 39 got knocked out. The money that you're going to earn going to go to your hospital bills. Trust me, I am the king.
May 18th is going to be, how can I say it? May 18th is going to be a great time for me, but a scary moment in time for Dominic Breazeale and his family. I would advise Dominic Breazeale to not bring his kids to this fight. That's how serious it is. You will suffer. You will pay. Every punch, every blow to your face is gonna be crucial. My occupation consists of punching people in the face. My occupation consists of putting you in the hospital. This is not a gentleman's sport. So when that bell rings, all hell gonna break loose. My opponent's not gonna be able to touch me. He's not ready for this situation. So forever will be the king and still heavyweight champion of the world.
Queensbridge is crazy. Turn the wrong corner and you will die.
I was not going to be a drug dealer. I'm here to play basketball.
I never questioned Ryan's ability. Every single day I questioned where he was mentally.
He had demons. He had a disease he couldn't handle.
I figured out that I need help.
Who comes back from what we dismiss as crazy and rescues himself?